I'm talking about a company that was involved, in logistics, sales, and things like that. So they had a good amount of clientele who were working in quote the corporate world. This man will not pay salaries, not pay. And so he said one day they had an order, right? And when this order came, right, he knew something was wrong. He knew the Oga was trying to cheat this man. So what he did was copy the original order, copy what the Oga had sanctioned to be delivered and to be demanded as payment. Listen to this, and then he reported his Oga and the company, to their regulators. I'm not going to say who. Told their regulators. He didn't stop there. He didn't stop there. Whilst he was reporting, because he was in charge of finances, he also channeled the monies that this man has been owing him and some of his staff away from that order. And then he resigned. Needless to say, the man got embroiled, in some court cases and blah, 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 blah. And then he sat down watching this man suffer. I don't know if that's the best way to do it, but that's what he did. So on this talk show, pokey as it always is, my question, would you report your horrible boss? Or what actions would you take?
The views and opinions shared on this program do not represent the position of Nigeriainfo FM. Nigeriainfo, let's talk.
Hello, Port Harcourt, with Jude on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
017-923-0002, 017-923-0007, at Nigeriainfo PH, at Nigeriainfo PH is where you find us on Facebook and on X, at Nigeriainfo PH, at Nigeriainfo PH is where you find us on Facebook and on X. WhatsApp is 0809-030-6416, 0809-030-6416. Would you report your horrible boss? Would you, if possible, make sure that business fails, just like the man who sent me a message yesterday? Hart is on the line. Hart is on NTA Road. Hart, good morning to you.
Good morning, Jude.
Good morning, Hart.
Okay. This your question is like a time bomb waiting to explode.
Sorry, you.
because most times some persons who have a terrible boss, they really want to report. But the question is, if I should report my boss, will I be protected? That is one. Because if I should report him, I am also endangering my own life and also mortgaging a lot of things that may happen. For instance, a student who go about to maybe report a lecturer for demanding sex for grade. And those lecturers, they have a union, they have their fellow colleagues and all of that. Definitely such a lecturer will want to indict such a student directly or indirectly. So I think personally, if I should have a boss that is toxic, that is terrible, the best I can do is just to resign, because reporting such a person in a standard cooperative organization, it's something that is terrible, because you are reporting, the person you are reporting to, maybe they set up a panel, they might also be involving in those kind of acts, and they will not see you as a threat. So instead of victimizing the person, you are the victim now. You will now be the one to face the punishment.
Okay.
So I will just resign.
All right. Hart says he will just resign. This one says, Jude, yes, I will report my boss. In my case, I reported to her superior, who was also a female, and that was when my misery increased greatly. Jude, I was not made to service the... What do you mean you were meant to service the female? I don't understand. What does this mean? All this happened because I had no hope of a job at the time. Dude, I was taking care of the women. Elliot, what's going on? Hey, we just open microphone, bam. See them, they've started dropping bombs. What? Hey. Jude, report the boss. To who? In a country where the labor laws nor the labor unions are deaf, or rather are deaf to the wailings of the people? Who cares?
Nigeriainfo will be right back.
Trader, are you ready for the flight? Yeah.
early morning as we start off on the office beat looking at horrible bosses, a continuation of our conversation from yesterday. All right, so once again, if you just join us, I'm asking, would you report a bad boss? Yesterday, when we were talking about female bosses and if there was a resistance to female bosses in the Nigerian workspace. Some of you said yes, some of you said no, and then we now got spiraled out to this point where people were talking about what their bosses, particularly the female bosses, were doing to them or had done to them that were unsavory. Now, somebody shared with me yesterday that yes, they had a bad boss, reported this bad boss, but not before setting the bad boss up. When the orders came, he captured what the real order was, what the boss had told them, had ordered them to distribute or to supply this client. There was obviously some standard that reduced, and then the prices were much inflated. And then what he did was to send this to their regulators and also he collected the money. He collected the money that the man has been owing there because the man did not like to pay them salary on the 25th or on the 27th as was agreed, but rather he will pay them on the 11th or on the 12th of the following month just to keep them on their toes, apparently. It was an act of sheer wickedness. In fact, as I'm talking, some of you who are listening will probably justify that man's action, but that's a conversation for another day. So, this is what he did. He reported, set the man up, and he resigned. Causing small problem here and there, which as you would expect from the corporate world, when people find out that substandard products or the price have been overinflated, not just overinflated, some backyard runs, like we like to say in this country, had happened. That's what this person did. But what would you do when you are faced with a horrible boss?
The views and opinions shared on this program do not represent the position of Nigeriainfo FM. Nigeriainfo, let's talk.
Well, Robin is speaking to us from a chair. Robin, good morning to you, please.
Good morning, my brother Jude.
Good morning.
Yes, he asked a question. Can one report his or her boss that have gone the other way? It all depends. Who is the boss? Is it the one that pays salary? Is it the one that makes your life sweet? How do you report? Who do you report to? For example, who do a police corporal, constable, sergeant report to if being maltreated by a DPO or by a senior police officer?
Good question.
Who?
Very good question.
Who? A police officer that was supposed to be given a pair of uniform, buttons and all the rest of the things they use once at least a year, and they are not given. Sometimes 3 years, 4 years, they buy for themselves. Who do they report to? There is a whole lot of institutional decay and rot. Okay, the civil servant that was employed by a state government, not fault of his or hers, and they were sacked by the state government, and they even went to court, got court judgment. The state government refused to restate them. Who did they report to? Do we go to ILO, International Labour Organization? What is the import of the labor unions we have? If you look at it over time, I don't know about you, myself, I'm talking about myself. They go about drinking teas, and you understand when they go to the government house, the kind of tea they drink there. Are they discussing the problems of those they represent? Who do you report to? So it's difficult. But in the case of women, if they are working anywhere and they have sexual harassment by their boss, that's a two-way. Either you leave quietly, because if you report, you are not going to, you have problems. I'm talking about report. Most people who even find themselves in these organizations, they are beneficiaries of the thing that their boss is doing that is wrong. They benefit. They find it difficult to report. So it's a problem. It's a problem. The institution is faulty, not until the institution is correct, because we have nobody to report to.
Zion, do you share the same sentiments with Robin in Eche? Good morning to you.
Good morning. I once read a book that says never go to the HR. for the boss and not for you. The truth is this. When you say report your boss, it's a very dicey question you're asking. If this boss is good to you, nice to you, if he pays on you some certain bills, I mean the guy is so good with you, can you report him? Let's be honest, you cannot report him.
What? He may be nice to me. What if he's terrible to other people? What if his niceties are the reason why other people are suffering?
Dude, you cannot report. Me and you cannot report that because we know the truth. It's only when the boss have done us bad. When you see people report people, my brother, it's because they don't like the person. No? That is why I told you that not one Nigerian police is good. Not one. Not one. Tell me which of them have reported their colleagues. Stop this money you are collecting. Mention one that you have seen reported their colleagues. One. All this careless shooting, they call them a stray bullet and happy trigger. Tell me the one that came out to explain, look, we saw what happened. Have you seen one that my brother, before you see them report, know that they don't like that person. Before they sack that guy, know they don't like him. Before they don't want to hear from him, know that he has been revealing things. I also read a book that said, look, the man that tells the truth walks alone.
The man that tells the truth walks
The
alone.
moment you are always truthful, you don't have friends. You will never have
So are you saying that people should not report? Because I want to get to Michael. Michael's in Borikri.
crime in this country, my brother.
It's now a crime to report.
That is why there is crime in this country.
Okay. But Michael in Borikri, do you agree with Zion? Good morning to you.
Good morning, Jude.
Good morning.
First of all, let's correct an impression. The policeman or the soldier or the naval officer cannot come to the public to tell you that these are our colleague, is this and that, because they swore to an oath not to disclose certain information. You understand? So if anyone is waiting for a policeman or a naval officer to come to the radio to tell you that he is aware of what this one, no. They have what are they doing? They have an hierarchy where they report such things. So, and it's not what you come to the public to disclose. It has to do with security. So let's correct that impression. I have a cousin who is working with the Nigerian police. We do talk once in a while, and he tells me some things I cannot disclose here. He's not happy with some of his conduct of his men. I mean an high-ranking police officer.
Okay.
Yeah, he's on the rank of a DSP now, going to either ESP or PSP as the case may be. So he tells me certain things I can't disclose here. He's not happy with what's going on. When he cannot come on your radio or any other station to start to complain, because they have ways of it is regimented. Can't come on the radio and saying all manner of things against your force. The truth is that Nigerians, most of us don't want what is right. Hence, we bear whatever comes from us. It's like people telling you they can't challenge the police because he's having a gun. Now, your boss in the office, is your boss also having a gun? Your boss is not having a gun.
Yeah, but he has the signatory to the account that pays your salary.
He has a pen. Let me use the word of the governor, red pen, or blue or black. Fine. That doesn't make you not to challenge the system. See, I was discussing with the boss I bought yesterday, the driver. He was telling, oh God, nothing. There's nothing God will come do for you. God has given you all the authority to do whatever you need to do. See, somebody must pay the price. Somebody must pay the price for something to be right. You could be sacked for challenging your boss's misbehavior. You could be sacked. It is a price. The truth is that we don't want to pay prices in this country, but we want to enjoy the benefits of everything. In those countries, we always call on the way to Canada, US. People pay the prices to enjoy what they are going through. Yeah, we just want to enjoy. We want to go to heaven without doing what it takes to go to heaven. It doesn't work that way.
You mean dying?
It might not be dying. Like I'm just giving.
Yeah, I understand. I understand.
Yeah, but people want to pay the price to enjoy what is good. People, they compare the boss is sack you. It is the price. you must pay a price. Now you complain the big man that has money. Do you know what the man did to take that money? It could be ritual, it could be whatever it is. He paid the price. It's not easy. So sometimes challenge the system. Challenge it, and you. In the long run, you will be rewarded. It is high time we paid the price for something to be right. Let's do what is right. Forget gun and pen.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Now, interesting stats I'd like to share with you. And this is from Good Hire. It is a checker company. It's an interesting article I got to find out yesterday. And I'd like to read some of the findings from this article. This is a research done in the US. Let's just, compare what even the American workforce feels. Now, 70% of American workers strongly enjoy or somewhat enjoy working for their manager. 82% of American workers say that they will potentially quit their job because of a bad manager. Interesting. 84% of American workers said they could do their manager's job. It's not so special. 83% of American workers said they could do their own job without their managers. They don't need supervision. Interesting. Now, this is where it now hits home, right? Only 44% of American workers said that their manager is open, honest during salary and compensation conversations. Did you hear that? Only 44, less than half of them felt that their manager or managers were open, honest during salary and compensation conversations. Only 32% of American workers said that their manager really cares about employee career progression. They didn't feel like the man wants them to grow. It's interesting, but I don't have stats for Nigeria, but the sentiments seem very similar. How many of you feel that your boss wants you to progress? How many of you feel your boss wants you to get to their level? How many of you have bosses who are consistently pushing you to get the very best out of it because the person, man or woman, doesn't want you to remain in this particular position? How many of you have that experience as a Nigerian, as a Port Harcourt person? WhatsApp 0809-030-6416. 0809-030-6416. Remember yesterday I told you, somebody sent me a message, how come these men who are complaining about their bad bosses, particularly the female bosses who are sexually harassing them, why are you not reporting? I have two messages here. They are of a sensitive nature, so I'm choosing not to read them out. But basically, one of them is saying, look, Jude, I have been sexually harassed by my boss, female. Another one here is saying that the woman blackmailed him to having sexual congress with her. And so, if this is wrong, now, once again, let's imagine, and I know Nigeria has so many stories about male lecturers, Uniben, Ife, LASU, Unilag, Uniport. See why I'm stressing Uniport? I'm stressing Uniport because I graduated from that school and I knew several female friends who complained bitterly after we left school. I didn't know this when we were in school, but after school they complained. They said, this lecturer, this man in particular, evil. And now some sat here, I'm honestly thinking, why didn't you report? I can understand, hey, they tell you if you don't pay for books, you will fail. But there's something, a lot of men may not understand this, but you see, there's something about a woman's body. And if she's violated, unfortunately, she may not end up blaming that person, the perpetrator. She internalizes that pain. And so imagine young girls who are getting into marriages, who are not confessing to their husbands or their husbands to be now that lecturer so and so Dr. So and so, Professor so and so, he did this to me. He said if I didn't do this, I will not pass my examination. That, ladies and gentlemen, is where some people are right now. I'm talking about right now in their marriages or their wedding plans. Right now. They're dealing with the trauma that these men caused nearly 12 years ago. And many of these men are sat down in the front pews of the various churches. They are kneeling down at the side preferred corner in their various mosques. There are chairs, heads of departments in their various schools. There are leaders, opinion leaders, no less, in various communities. Yet, they have caused pain. Some people's marriages right now, like, he's shaking, he's doing like this, he's doing like this. Because one professor with a filthy habit who couldn't control his phallus decided to instigate trauma into somebody's life. Why are you not speaking out, you say? Well, wait until you hear the females and their side of the story. Jude, good morning. My name is Douglas. The best way to handle this situation, being the boss or the lecturers, is simple. If the Public Complaint Commission in the state is working and have all the military forces working with the PCC, it would have been the right avenue to report by sending a text explaining the issues and allowing the commission to investigate. Is it working? How well is it working? How well? That's the question. Jude, I will report my boss if he or she harasses me when I decline. I'd rather lose the said job than sell my dignity. Vivian with that comment. Good morning, Mr. Jude. I won't report my boss, so I will just be doing my own. Everybody doing their own. Nobody worrying anybody. Naija, it's a typical case scenario. It's so boy with that comment. A situation where a boss will sexually harass a colleague and force her to resign. Wow. All right, things are happening. Facebook, X, at Nigeriainfo, PH, at Nigeriainfo. PH is where you'll find us on those platforms. At Nigeriainfo, PH, at Nigeriainfo. PH is where you'll find us on those platforms. Victor Sunday says, good morning, sir. Please, if I reported my boss in politics and nobody protect me from getting arrested, what will be my gain? Victor is saying. So yeah, protection. Is it a societal issue, an institutional issue right now? Is it? Hi, Jude. Good morning to you and the listeners. I am so drawn to this conversation, Jude. My boss is the best of its kind. He is an employer's career progression type of boss, Jude. I love him. Just wants to see you improve. Emmanuel in Port Harcourt. But that's good to hear, Emmanuel. It's pretty good to hear. Most of the women are the ones who harass the bosses. So why target to report your boss when you know you may be the boss one day? In any case, what is evil and should be condemned, and whatever is criminal should be reported, Harvest says. Whatever is evil and should be reported. Fair enough. Let's get back to the phone lines. Oh, before I forget, right? Once again, let me read those stats I shared with you earlier on, talking about, employee relationships. Key findings: 70% of American workers strongly enjoy or somewhat enjoy working for their manager. 82% of American workers say they would potentially quit their job because of a bad manager. Are you seeing the parallels here as well? 84% of American workers say they could do their manager's job. 83% of American workers say they could do their own job without their managers. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Only 39% of the American workforce said that their manager is open and honest about promotion opportunities. Only 39%. Only 44% of the American workers say their managers also open about salary and compensation conversations. And then, finally, only 32% of American workers say that their manager really cares about employee career progression. So, if you are faced with a bad boss, would you report? Why haven't you reported? Let's find out. 017-923-0002, 017-923-0003. All right, Kachi here says, Andrew, good morning. There are so many reasons why people will not report their bosses. First and foremost, it's money. Many of these people are dependent, heavily so, on those jobs or those careers. To report the person who supervises you is tantamount to having that career stagnate or even worse, stop. Secondly, it is the fear of the lack of protection. Unfortunately, we don't have institutions in this country that will protect people who make those kind of reports. Case in point, look at the whistleblower. How many times have you heard anybody whistleblow after the very first one that was made public? Kachi has a point there. Kachi has a point. I remember that whistleblower thing. Remember it? When they went to find millions of naira and hundreds of thousands of dollars and pounds in an apartment in Lagos. Remember that? Remember that story? Remember? It was during the Buhari administration. Whistleblower. Remember that? Okay. All right. Let's go on. All right. So, where did I stop? Okay. The whistleblower story. So, for me, I think people need to start to address these issues directly. The major reason why bosses get away with these crimes is because people are afraid to confront them. I would say challenge your boss directly. Don't be afraid. If there's anything bullies hate confrontation. Bullies hate confrontation. Kachi says challenge your boss. Sounds easy. Good morning, Jude. We only complain when we don't like the boss in question. I remember working with an oil service company. I was crushing on my female boss, and then she started making sexual advances on me. Jude, I enjoyed the sexual affair. I must tell you the truth. I enjoyed it until another female superior started making advances on me again, and the lover had been transferred. That's when I started complaining. I gained a lot from that affair. She pays my rent and favors me anyways. I didn't complain, and it was 1 in a million affair. Interesting. Someone anonymous. Interesting. Hey. Look at that. So that wasn't an harassment now, but yes, I get the point you're making. It says we only complain when we don't like the boss in question. I should forward this to the news team. Anonymous, good morning, Jude. Who do I report my boss to? Now, our day boss believe all employees are at their mercy. Okay, nowadays bosses believe that all employers are at their mercy. So they do what they want, nothing will happen. Talking about bosses that will want his employees to grow. My boss will never want his employees to grow. Oh dear. Seems honest, but painful to read. It has to be said. Painful to read. Well, let's ease off on the accelerator, shall we? I'll leave you with your thoughts and your messages. Can't quite say it's a pleasing thing to hear. But the truth is, wherever humans congregate, there are always going to be some hard heads. And it's sad as we speak, some of you are the bane of another person's life. I know it's not because of jealousy I say this. No, it's because it's the truth. And to those of you who are working under oppressive work scenarios, I really hope you find your voice one day, like Kachi said, to challenge your boss, to speak out. Some of you are harassing your housemates. They are beating them. Some of you, I didn't say all of you, some of you, you know yourselves. My name is Jude. Good morning. More conversations on the way after the break.
For more talk, news and sports, stay tuned to Nigeriainfo.